Dessert can sometimes be the best part of any meal and a delicious way to bring us all a little bit closer. Here in Michigan, one of the desserts that we are well known for is our fudge, and today we're able to sit down with someone who knows all about it. Inspired and encouraged by her grandmother, this woman has built up a family business to share their fudge with everyone. Dayla McClendon is here in the studio to tell us about the journey she has taken to get where she is now and the plans for the future. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson. Today's show is going to be a good one since we have the opportunity to sit down with a wonderful woman behind the brand Just for Fudge. Dayla McClendon, I'm going to say welcome back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, we love having you on campus here, an alum of Madonna University.
Yeah, 2 times over, class of 16 and 18 respectively. It's a little weird to say that, but it's fun to say too.
Well, and it's exciting to welcome you back as an alum and as a small business owner.
Yeah.
Just for Fudge, how exciting. Tell us a little bit about this business that you have.
Yeah, so Just for Fudge, it started in April of 2022, and the inception of it came when I was over at my grandma's house one day and she wanted to make fudge. She was in the mood for it, but she was feeling tired and she's like, I don't feel like standing there cooking it. So I said, all right, if you tell me how to make it, I'll make it for you. No big deal. And she looked at me and she said, I'll tell you how to make it if you make a business out of it. Ma'am, say less. So I actually needed her to say more to tell me the recipe, but so I made the fudge for her and she said that it was good. And my dad and I had been kicking around the idea of starting a food business together. So after my grandma taught me the recipe and she gave it the stamp of approval from a Southern grandma, I got home and I spoke to my dad like, hey, were you serious about starting a food business? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's do it with fudge. And he said, let's do it. And so we started it we incorporated in March of 2022. And a month later, after a full month of testing different flavors, we launched and had our first weekend and did sales. And we've been going strong ever since.
Wow, and at a time when it was probably a challenging time to start a business. There was a lot of transition, coming out of the pandemic and everything. Had your family had any businesses before?
So it actually turns out my family, there is entrepreneurship in the bloodline.
Okay.
So my dad's dad, he was a carpenter, I believe, and the home that my dad grew up in, I believe my granddad built it had a lot of work, his hands on in constructing it and whatnot and maintaining it over the years. My dad has 5 different businesses of his own and he's a full-time pastor. So when the man sleeps, I'm still trying to figure that out. Not sure if I ever really catch him sleeping. And then my older brother, he has a lawn care service. So entrepreneurship runs in the family. I was just kind of I don't want to say the last one in because I'm the youngest in the household, but there are family members that are younger than me that I hope will take up the mantle as well.
The next generation, right?
Yeah.
Right? So what's it like working with family? For those of us who don't work with our family, what is that like? You hear, people make jokes and you hear stories, but what's it like?
It is an interesting scenario, particularly for me being the baby of the bunch. I am the youngest of 3 and both of my siblings, they are both married. And so being the youngest, but being the one in charge. Let's just say I've gotten very used to saying I'm not bossy, I just have better ideas, which isn't always the case, but they let me roll with it. It's a lot of fun working with my family. My mom and I think once I got into college, once I started, particularly at Madonna, that's when I realized that my mom and I went from mom and daughter to friends. And so seeing this friendship grow between the two of us as we work together, finding out just how much I have in common with my dad, being an entrepreneur, and it's like, in a way I'm filling my dad's shoes because he has a business, now I have a business, and we're business partners. And my brothers, they are so supportive. We've tag teamed. We did a weekend where my sister-in-law and we went to a 3-day carnival and we were vending there, and my mom and my brother, they were at a neighborhood community gathering that was just bringing together entrepreneurs from that particular neighborhood and just bringing awareness to the fact of these businesses that had started up during the pandemic and just, word of mouth. So it's been a blessing to work with my family.
What has surprised you the most about starting a business? Something that you said, man, I just didn't see that coming.
The fact that there is a lot of peace that's involved in knowing that I am my own boss, and the fact that I don't know what every day is going to bring. That it leaves a sort of sexiness to the adventure of it all, because you know, it's when you work a 9 to 5, it's like, okay, you know, if you put in so many hours at, you know, every other week, you're going to get a certain amount in your bank account. But then when you're working for yourself, it's like you can put in the hours and you may not see the financial return that day. But I know that God is faithful, and when he says that whatever you diligently put your hands to, he is going to bless the fruits of your labor. So it's like, I may not see it today, but I know some tomorrow there's going to be a blessing that will allow me to be a better blessing to my community.
Oh, I love that. And we're going to get to experience the blessing that is the fudge in our next segment. But I have to ask you about the name, too, Just for Fudge. And I see there's like a little cross out and a line. So tell us about the name. How did you come up with that?
So initially, when my dad and I decided that, yeah, we were going to go into business, he's like, all right, go ahead and come up with the name. And so we came up with the company name, which is HLD Products LLC. And the HLD is his first initial. His middle name is Lee. Mine is Lynn, after my mom. And so we did the L for the two, my mom and I, and then D is for Dayla. And so it's our products. And then Just for Fudge, that came about because when we decided that fudge was going to be our first line of products, that was between my siblings and I. And we just kept stumbling over stuff, and I'm like, oh, fudge. And my older brother said, fudge it. And my dad was like, that's cute, but I don't know how I feel about either of those. And we're like, oh, we're just doing this for fun. And we all just went, Just for Fudge.
The perfect name.
And that was how that came about.
Oh, and it was and even in the naming of the company, the whole family was involved.
The family was involved, and there's still a stitch in my side here from all of the laughter that we did that day. It was great.
Well, it helps burn the calories. You eat the fudge, you laugh a lot, right?
I like the way you think.
That's really nice. Well, that's what I plan to do. Well, unfortunately, we're already having to take a small break, but we're going to be right back to show off some of the ingredients and talk about what goes into this fudge. And we'll be hearing more from Dayla about all the wonderful flavors she has. I can't wait for that part. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those hands.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, and this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Ready?
Oh, come on, Randy. Animal shelter, here I come. And no, I'm not crazy or emotionally damaged. That's a stereotype. I just belong to a total loser. I'm a good dog. So if you want a pet, adopt. And if you see Randy, tell him he dropped his wallet.
Welcome home, man.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and I'm here with Dayla McClendon, who is co-founder for her family business, Just for Fudge. And we're going to take actually a closer dive into all of the fudge, the flavors, the ingredients. This is the best part, right? Right? So excited. So you have a nice display tray for out here for us, and it's got a good sampling. Let's go from closest to you to me. Tell us the flavors and a little bit about this fudge.
Sure. So the flavors that we have here on the table, we have a range of our different bases that we utilize. So we have a maple base, there's chocolate, we have butterscotch based fudges, and then we also have vanilla based. So we have those here on the table. And the original, that was actually the recipe that I learned from my grandma, and that's why we call it original.
And how did she come up with her recipe? Did she ever tell you that?
Honestly, she said it was something that she learned from her mom, and she made it my grandma called it the old-fashioned Southern way.
Okay.
So you have what's called slab fudge, which is what a lot of people are used to when they travel to Michigan and to the different areas up north where you can get fudge. You have slab fudge, which is you make it and then you put it onto this marble slab and you fold it in on itself until you get the texture that you're looking for, and then you start to shape it.
Okay.
But the method that we utilize is called pan fudge. So it's what you do is you cook it on your stove top, and it's a lot of stirring involved. So I thank God for modern technology and blenders, mixers. Those, you can't go wrong with those. And so you mix it on your stove, and then once you get it to the temperature that you need it to be so that it'll get that texture that you want, you take it over to a aluminum steel pan and you pour it over in the pan. So we use parchment paper to help us get it out later so that we have the pretty clean cut edges that you see here, and it's not crumbling in on itself. But we pour it into the pan and we allow it to set, to take its shape and its form, and then we cut it either in our squares or we use different cutouts for catering purposes and to give different shapes and just to put a little razzle dazzle.
Well, and now you're giving me the secrets behind the scene here, because the parchment paper, I've made fudge, it's never looked that pretty, I got to tell you. So that's one of the secrets.
It's your friend.
And I noticed you brought some ingredients here. So that's, I'm a novice baker and a novice chef, I would say. And so do ingredients really make that much of a difference?
Yes and no. So yes, because fudge, so technically fudge is chocolate and your staple salt, condensed milk, butter, and then flavoring of your choice. And you have fudge. Excuse me.
Sure.
And then you have fudge there. But then with the other flavors, that was just me playing around and going back to yesteryears when my parents would allow me to just kind of play around in the kitchen. Because I wasn't really the TV watcher like that. I was the reader, or I wanted to experiment. I'm obsessed with textures.
Okay.
And so I loved playing with different elements to see what the textures turned into, what it became. And I cook by smell, so I love just playing around with different herbs and spices and what have you.
Sure.
So really it's just having fun and enjoying yourself.
What are the most popular flavors of fudge that you sell?
Honestly, it's dependent on different locations. So a top seller would actually be our salted rum, which we have for you to try here.
Yay.
A highly requested flavor was vanilla, and that surprised me because to me, when I think fudge, I'm thinking chocolate. So I already thought I was going out of the box utilizing butterscotch as a base. And a lot of people are like, butterscotch? You can do stuff with butterscotch other than put it in a cookie? And it's like, yeah. So the vanilla was highly requested. Salted rum is really good. And then we have over 20 flavors. So another one that has become fairly popular, it's named for my two nephews. And then a third one is named for my oldest niece. So my oldest niece, she has a flavor called Harley's Surprise, because when I started doing all of this, she's like, Auntie, I like your fudge, but really I like banana. Can we do something with banana?
Surprise.
Sure, kid. So, I played around with it and found a banana concoction that she liked, and so we called it Harley Surprise. My oldest nephew, Tristan, he loves the pecan.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, but can I be extra? Can I have caramel on mine? Sure. That's Tristan's treat. And then we have my youngest nephew, EJ. He liked the peanut butter, and he's like, but I also love the pecan. So can I have a peanut butter pecan? And at first I was like, I don't know, I got to meditate on that one. Let me talk to God. And I went to a venue and somebody tried the peanut butter and they say, "Oh, do you have one with pecans?" We will. And we ended up with EJ's exclusive. So those are some of our top sellers.
So even the family is even inspiring you to try new recipes, new flavors. It looks like you're finding inspiration in many different ways for it.
Definitely. There's inspiration when you look anywhere. It's just a question of if you're willing to look and if you're willing to do something with what you see.
So how much, what's the price point for fudge? You know, I'm sure that, I know you brought boxes and, I'm sure you do different things, just to give people in the audience an idea of how much it would be.
Sure. So the boxes that we have here on the table, these are half pounds, roughly half pounds. Some of them go a little bit over the half pound point, and we charge $14 a box. And so that's for all of the flavors. Yeah. One of the things that we were trying to do was to keep it all the same so that it's not like when you go some places you may find that sugar-free costs a little bit more than regular, and it's like it's not the customer's fault that they may need sugar-free. Sure. So we wanted to find that price point where it could all be a universal experience.
And where can people find your fudge if they wanted to order it or pick it up? Do you have a storefront, a website? Where's the best place?
So the best place right now would be finding us at different festivals and vendor markets and carnivals and what have you. So following us on our website, hldproductsllc.com, that would be the best place to just keep in touch and to see where we're going to be and if we're in an area near you. And you can find our Facebook and Instagram through our website as well.
Oh, so on all the socials, we can find you there.
Yes.
And HLD, again, stands for?
Henry Lynn Lee Dela.
Oh, the family business. Well, it's time for another short break, but stay with us because when we come back, we're going to find out more about Dela McClendon and her future plans for growing her family's business. Stay tuned.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Nice. No.
Oops. Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy.
Works every time.
Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and we're here in the studio having a great time with Dela McClendon, alumni from Madonna and entrepreneur. She's talking about the plans she has for moving forward, and I'm going to sample a little bit of fudge here today too. So as we get into that, I just want to talk about what's next for your business before I get into this.
Sure. So one of the things that we are hoping to do next, In addition to having a storefront where people will be able to find us easily and not have to worry about are we in their area, but they know a set location where we are as well. We're looking to do that, but we're also hoping to get our products in stores like Walmart, Meijer, Target, and what have you, because the goal is to be able to employ other people and to pour back into the community, not just in giving monetary donations or just giving our time, but actually investing in people by putting jobs in the community and allowing it to grow that way. One of the things that put me on the journey of entrepreneurship outside of my family was learning that African Americans lead the nation in poverty, unemployment, incarceration, recidivism, and having the least amount of entrepreneurs. And if we fix having the least amount of entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs who are willing to employ other people in the community, that easily takes care of the other 4 categories. And it was just like, okay, God, I hear you, because I went through that questioning in 2020 after George Floyd and seeing what the community was still going through. It's like, it's the same soup, but a different bowl. And how do we change this? And I knew God was real and that he was good. So it's like, okay, I see scripture, I see what's happening in the community, what's happening in society, and they're not lining up. And because I know, God, you're good, that means something you told us to do, we're not doing. So what is it? And according to Luke 19:13, it was occupy, which is entrepreneurship. So I said, okay, God, I trust you to do this through me. And so here we are.
Following the call.
Following the call.
And, you know, I know faith, you're mentioning that faith plays a big part in the business. And as I looked at your very elegant packaging, which I have to compliment you on, I noticed on the top there's a psalm. And on this box, it's Psalm 34:8.
I'll trust, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him.
So talk about that. Why include that on your package, and what does that mean to you?
We included it on the package because we wanted people to know, first and foremost, that God is everything for us, and that no matter how bad things are, taking refuge in God is still right and it's still worthwhile. And then we want people to taste and see through experiencing us as they meet us at different events and as they encounter our business, that God is good through how we treat them and how we view them. And then, of course, you know, taste and see that the Lord is good, but also taste and see that the fudge is good too.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm getting to that. I'm building to the tasting. I can't wait. But I want to ask, I know there's got to be, you know, people out in the audience who are thinking about starting a business, particularly maybe women like you who are like, you know what, maybe I should do this, but I'm not sure. What advice would you give them as you're here today showing where you've come to?
Practicality, not perfection.
Okay.
So learn as you go. You can't learn to drive a car while it's parked. So sometimes you have to actually just get up and start doing and learn as you go. There's no such thing as a loss in business. There are only lessons. And so you'll either learn from what you go through and then incorporate that to do better, or you'll let it knock you down. But surround yourself with other people who are able to encourage you in business, but also able to keep you encouraged and keep you motivated, I would say.
And how do your customers react to the product?
I've heard reactions like it's a party in your mouth. One person just like sat down and said, "This was nice," and it was like, okay, you enjoy that moment, yeah. And then I've had a customer that just shoved the whole thing in his mouth, and it was like, I like your reaction, guy. Yeah. So there's been a spectrum of reactions.
Mm-hmm. And if you think, let's say I just look like 10 years down the road, and it's you, and you've got your business now, and you're looking at where you are, where do you think you're going to be?
I think we are going to be a franchise, and that will be a household name. I think that we'll still be going strong and pouring into the community like what we're praying that God will bless us to do.
Well, I've built up enough now. I'm going to actually try it. I'm going to go with the one that's closest to me here.
Sure.
And just give you my reaction. I haven't tried it yet, so you're going to see my real reaction here. Now, I do love, it is a party in your mouth. Oh. Now, which one did you say this is?
Looking at that one, I want to say that one is the vanilla.
Yeah.
That one's either the vanilla or the maple.
Yeah, it's really good.
I'm gonna.
I think you should try some. I love that you're trying your own product. This is good. We're having a great time with it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you have vanilla because this just needs this needs a biscuit or a waffle.
I love it. And now you mentioned events too. So I saw you have some things like for the holidays here. What are some other events you've had your fudge at in the past?
So we were blessed to participate in the 76th annual Wayne County Fair this year, and so that was a hoot and a holler. It was a great time. But we are also open for catering. So if people want to have fudge at their parties, we have again. We can make shapes for, we can cut the fudge into shapes for their theme. So if it's a Christmas theme, Thanksgiving, holidays, birthday parties, baby showers. And so we've been catering like that. So we have those cutouts there just to kind of display some of what we do. So there's decorations that can be put on it, so it doesn't have to be plain.
Oh, Dayla, it has been such a pleasure. It's been a treat to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for telling us all about your business, and keep going. That's exciting stuff.
Thank you.
And we are so glad that you were able to join us today. The time went by so fast. We thank you, Dayla, for coming to spend time with us and tell us about this wonderful business you've started. It's been an honor to share your family business with our family of viewers. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time on Celebrate Michigan for all the wonderful people that bring so much to our great state. There's so many good things happening in the Mitten State. We'll see you next time.